On a MoTeC system where you're using the dash to shift the ECU, typically you'll go to Functions, Shift Lights, Upshift, and then Upshift Light 1 is typically what I use. So the value for Upshift Light 1, which is down here at 12,500, is then sent over CAN from the ADL to the ECU as Upshift Light 1. Now that signal is then calibrated inside the ECU as one of the digital inputs. In this case, it's gear shift up, which it shows it's coming from ADL channel 3. So within the shift system of the M800, or M400 in this case, under gear shift, you'll see there's some setup parameters here. It's not allowed to accept a signal from the dash for at least a quarter of a second after a signal has come in. And then under upshift, you can see that the ECU has some limitations in here where the RPM has to be above a certain parameter. In this case, it's set to 12.5. So the shift won't happen unless this value in the ECU is set below the signal that's coming from the dash. But by doing it this way, the dash shift light settings will decide where the ECU does a shift. This is the duration that the output will come on so the shift can occur. And then there's an aux output over here set up as a gear shift up output. And that just basically follows the control mechanism inside the M800. So if you want to make changes to your shift RPM, you make the changes in the dash. And if you want to make a change to a lower shift point, as far as the lockout goes in the ECU under the gear shift strategy, you'd go to upshift and make this value something smaller than, in this case 12,500, and then any time it's above that RPM, it'll allow the shift from the dash. But any command that comes from the dash to the ECU is not allowed unless it's above this RPM. You can turn this off by as the software says, putting a 0 in there, and then it'll accept any signal that comes from the dash, which is fine. But in this case, probably needs to be set to something more like 5,000 RPM, and the shift will work correctly.